the reality that someone could be living, ukuthi they technically don't have anything, but the facade and the confidence and the vision that they sell you can believe it. Hello, welcome to Sihle's 2 Cents. My name is Sihle Simelane. Sihle's 2 Cents is about South African film and theatre reviews, my thoughts, opinions, and lessons that I get from watching all of them. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, tell people, help those you know get reach with what I'm trying to do. And thank you once again, everyone, for your support for the first 2 episodes. Without further ado, let's get into the video. We're back with season 1, episode 3. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at a film called AboMkhulu, which you can find on Showmax. AboMkhulu, the synopsis says, after a crime committed for South Africa's liberation struggle 30 years ago, 3 childhood friends are set free. They embark on a journey of self-discovery while facing their new realities. The genre of this is drama, but I feel like they left comedy out, because when I tell you guys, I was laughing throughout this entire film. I am not lying. The director is Cents.My, and Mr. Mphahlele did the things here. So this film starts off with people basically marching and a guy leading this march, and later we discover that the guy who was leading this march was actually Hooks, which is played by Jeffrey Sekele. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing his surname wrong, please correct me in the comments. And they're marching, and then obviously they get arrested because their friend was trying to help a kid, and the friend is Ushishi, which is played by John Lata. So Ushishi, he's the part of the 3 friends. There was actually 4 of them, but the one passed on, which is Onke's father, and Onke is played by Kgaujane Morai. So Onke's father passed on, and he apparently he didn't actually end up going to jail, and Onke is the one that actually helps Thousand and Hooks get out of prison. Thousand is played by Sihle Simelane. Now let me rewind. So it shows these people, then Thousand and Hooks get arrested. Ushishi actually ends up in a asylum, but we'll get to that. So Thousand and Hooks, it fast forwards to 30 years later after the protest, and in the protest there's a white man who goes excuse me, it's a Buddha man who takes his phone and he's like, Kubas, Harry man, the blacks are here. I don't know why I found that to be funny, but it literally had me in tears. So it fast forwards to 30 years later. 30 years later, it shows Thousand and Hooks in jail, and they actually being treated slightly poorly by, their fellow inmates, because when they're serving them chicken feet, mautwana, in prison, the 2 guys are like, you guys are the ancestors of this place. I'm only gonna give you 1 chicken feet, and also you guys like to make a noise by singing a song, Kesara Kesara, which means whatever will be, will be. And in the movie they actually pronounce it Kusera. I don't know why, maybe they can explain to me, but as I know it is Kesara, but I like that they localize the pronunciation of it. By the way, guys, I love this film. I loved it so much. It was well written, well directed, and it is a 2023 film, so I would personally say check it out. Now moving right along. So they get told that they're actually going to get out of prison today by a lawyer lady that Onke actually helped them with, because Onke is studying his master's degree in law and wants to use Thousand and Hooks and Shishi as his thesis for his master's degree, right? So the lady is like, oh yeah, by the way, you guys are going to get a startup compensation fund of 5 million rand, because apparently they were kept in prison longer than they were meant to be. So they get this 5 million. Thousand and Hooks are released, and they are literally the happiest people. They're happy that they're no longer being referred to as Bosha. They're now calling them honorables. They have a whole cute moment. They get picked up in I almost called it they get picked up in a Vienna looking type of car. I think it was a Honda, and they taken to the various places. So 1000 still has his family. Hooks' family though is the family that they struggle to find. So Hooks books a place where Onke works, and Onke works at a guest house, so he books himself a place there, and he's like, okay, I'll stay there until I can find my family or look at my family. Now in this film, they keep dropping hints of similarities that exist between Onke and Hooks, and I'm like, I think they are father and son, and it turns out I'm right. But at the end of the movie, I figured that that's what it would be, which is a beautiful ending. But it then goes on, and they decide they're gonna go out now because Onke was telling them that Shishi is in an asylum because they thought that Shishi was like passed on. They don't know if he made it to jail. They were trying to inquire, and they're like, no, he's right around the corner. So they want to try and break him out. And I thought to myself, why are you trying to break him out if you can just walk in and ask what the procedure is? So as they're trying to break him out, they actually get caught by the security guard in the bathroom discussing how they're going to try and break Shishi out, all three of them, right? And then they go into the office. I'm thinking they called the cops. The lady's like, no, Shishi could always leave. It was just, he had no family. We had no contact number, next of kin, any type of thing. So you guys can just walk out with him. They all walk out together. They go to the club. Now, when they get to the club, obviously these brothers are fresh. They look like they have money. They're buying nice drinks. There's a lady that walks up to 1000, and apparently she whispers dirty things according to what they say. And they're so confused. I found that to be very funny because it's like they don't understand that 30 years has passed and blessed territory is now a thing. You go into clubs and young girls are like, oh, you look like you have money. What's up? And they were so baffled by it. They were like, no, when you should be in bed, you should be sleeping. What are you doing here? Hey, these kids, they have no respect. And I loved the play on that it wasn't like a ease into life thing, because even the next morning when they woke up and they're awoken, they first thing they wake up is say Fader, especially 1000. They play that on 1000 a lot, that he wakes up and likes to say Fader because he's used to that certain type of lifestyle. So they get drunk, obviously everything is nice. They also visited Onke's late father's grave, and they were inquiring. And so the play of Onke and Hooks being father and son comes up in the diary that is brown, that belonged to Onke's late mother. And there's a picture that Hooks carries that looks like the establishing shot of when we first meet Onke at home with his brothers. It's the same picture of this woman that Hooks has in his wallet that Onke has at home. So you can see the play on that. Thandeka, which is the manager of the guest house, which is played by Simphiwe Ngema. She was literally the cutest. The film goes on, and now Hooks is trying to find his family. Onke is helping him. There's a love story that exists between Onke and Thandeka that they are also playing on. So Onke and Thandeka are like, yo, we like each other. And at the end of the film, they end up dating, which I found to be absolutely very cute. So fast forward, they go in search for Hooks's family. 1000, Shishi and Onke, they go in search for Hooks's family, and they don't find Hooks' family. They moved. The place they go to the place they say that Hooks' family moved to, like from a different town in Limpopo, is nobody. Now I don't know if that's real. If it's real, please tell me down below, because I found that to be ironic because nobody from his family was found in nobody, But so they don't find his family, and now they end up going to the club, sort of drowning their sorrows. Now when they go to the club, 1000 and Shishi are now happy people. They are now the blesser people that they were complaining about before. But these are young girls, these are children that should be sleeping. They're now engaging in conversations with them. So there was also a little bit of character arc that existed and was at play with that. Onke now gets called by the Minister of Justice's secretary to come in for an interview. They're supposed to go for an interview. She pretends to have a gun. I don't know where he was taking them, to be very honest. She pretends he has a gun. The security gets mad, like, you can't do that. This is a place of authority and there's a lot of things that happen. So unfortunately, none of you can come in. And he loses that opportunity. He loses his job because he was supposed to do a surprise planned proposal for a client's potential fiance, and he left the gift out in the open. He gets fired. He doesn't tell Tandeka he likes her. There's just a whole falling out. He gets a job the next, I think they say a couple of weeks later. He's now working at the spaza shop around his local place. Hooks goes and he looks for him. They start talking about the type of woman that Onke's mom was, and then they both start quoting Kesera lyrics, and then they realize to wait, because Onke now confesses that he found out from his mom that his dad wasn't his dad, and so he always knew he was fatherless. And then he's like, Hooks is like, wait, you're 30, right? He's like, yeah, I'm 30. And it's like, oh, I'm your father. And 3 months or 2 months later, they're now living in a new place. He's the father to Onke and his 2 younger brothers, because his 2 younger brothers technically are his stepbrothers. So what I liked about this film was funny. The lessons I picked up is, extending a helping hand should have boundaries. Like, you should have boundaries, because you see with Onke, he was helping these men, but he didn't know when to draw the line, and hence his things started getting affected. And it's not to say that these guys are bad people. AboMkhulu, they're absolutely wonderful people, but you can tell that they're jokesters, and especially that Ushishi ruined this opportunity for him that feels like he can never get back. But I think, to play devil's advocate, is that also these people ruining the opportunity for him. What's meant for you won't miss you, literally, because Onke still got his master's degree. One day he's probably going to end up being in the Minister of Justice office and nothing will disturb him. So I think even with anything and everything, he kept his head up high. He never gave up. Both him and his dad, Hooks, never gave up. They always had hope, and hope was the thing that kept them going, because even in the film, Thousand looks at Hooks is like, dude, it's better to be hopeful than hopeless, because hope is the only thing that can keep you going. And I think how you don't have to lead in life with where you're from, like your past doesn't define you. That's another lesson I picked up, because these AboMkhulu didn't lead with hey, we're 3 Mkhulus from prison and we got 5 million and we got this and we're great. They never mentioned how much money they had, ever. You would just think they have money. And rewind, there's a scene where Thousand sleeps with a girl and a young lady, and then he wakes up in the morning. The girl is like, yo, I'm tired. He's like, yo, bro, you have to go. I'm going to Cape Town. I'm going to meet with the minister. I'm very important. And she falls for it. And he goes late in the morning, talks to his boys, and he's like, these young girls are so stupid. Not me. He said that. So he said that. And I found it to be funny, because it's like the reality that someone could be living, Uguti, they technically don't have anything, but the facade and the confidence and the vision that they sell you, you can believe it. So I picked up that, you need to not allow your past, what you've been through, lead you or lead with who you introduce yourself to be. Because yes, they were in prison for 30 years, and it's not to be oblivious and say that their life is easy and things work out like this for each and every single person, that everyone who leaves prison will get a startup life compensation fund. But it is to say that make space for yourself in a space where you need to relearn and adjust with everything that's going on. I think another thing that I really, really loved that I picked up was that this movie was straight to the point. The storyline was clear, it was direct. I was able to pick up each and every single thing. The ending was beautiful. Every character literally arced, And I forgot to mention, who is this? Oma is Leboham Panya, and she ends up being she's girlfriend, and she works at the hotel as well. I'm gonna put who that is because we all know she's the babe. And yeah, this was just a feel-good movie. I think it's also very important to highlight feel-good movies. You know, it had great things, and I appreciated everything about this film. The quality, even, you know, Showmax is low-key giving me Netflix of South Africa, even though there is South African things on Netflix. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. Please comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.